Hi and welcome. So I am Julie Johansson. I'm from Denmark and I've got the concept warriorsheart.dk. This video today is very important also here in May 2020, but also in regards to opening up our world and becoming even more aware, open, compassionate. And the topic of the video is gonna be being extreme while taking other people hostage with the belief that you might have and the beliefs that I have. Let me give you an example. When I came out of the Danish army in 2005, I was a complete mess. I was burned out. I had severe PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I had 2 eating disorders. I was deeply traumatized because of several accidents, the gladiators on television. I was run down on my motorcycle by a tractor and was in a wheelchair. I had arthritis, I had chronic pain. I actually didn't want to live. So the years went by and I cured myself of the PTSD and stuff, but as being a body behavioral transformation therapist, an inner child therapist, a regression therapist, a psychic, a sensitivity mentor, and psychic as well. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, I was constantly being challenged by everyone around me, by myself, and by life, because I was still extreme. I was extreme when I was in the army. You might know that if you've looked at a soldier from distance. As a soldier, we can be very structured and strict and direct and disciplined, and this is the way it's gonna be. But the thing is, what I realized when I came out of the other side of PTSD was that I was acting like most people who had Asperger's or were borderline, because I had created this narrative in my mind that I had to be like this, look like this, act like that. And I did used to, many years ago, have the eating disorder called orthorexia, which means that you're very, very disciplined in regards to food and exercise and the body. You're so strict that you can barely live without all these rules. So I'm telling you this because we're in May 2020. And in April 2020, you and I and all of us were and had to be confronted with our inner extreme old self. I used to be very strict. I used to be very self-disciplined, very structured and harsh. And today I spoke, let me just be straightforward. I spoke to a client yesterday and she told me, and I told her, so you want to take care of your kids alone at home for the next 6 years? And she was, yeah. And I said, so you're gonna raise your kids all by yourself? Her husband is there, but they aren't connected. So I said, but what's the side effect of raising your kids all alone by yourself at home? And I said, besides the fact that your kids won't be very social once they get to school, you can't grow or evolve in that time. You will just be a mom. So when the kids is 6 or 7, what about you? And I said, you're putting a lot of emphasis and responsibility on your partner that he has to earn the money. And I said, I know why you want this. And she said, I know it's the right way to do it because I know the whole world's wrong when they put their kids into the institutions. But the thing is, this extreme attitude is a rebellious behavior against the society, instead of looking at what's it about within myself. When you're extreme, you're taking other people hostage, including your innocent children. Because if you were to ask your kids, of course they want to be around their mom, but they also want to be around a mom who's healthy, who's thriving, who's well, and who's happy. And many of you moms during this corona crisis have realized, fuck, it's hard being a mom. It's hard being a mom 24/7, homeschooling your kids and stuff. I just wanted to challenge her on that belief that it has to be this way. I have to homeschool and take care of my kid, not homeschool, but nurture and take care of my kids until they're 6 years old. But what, my fucking God, we're in 2020, in May. May of 2020 is the month where we all gonna find a new balance before the world is opening up again. This was a period for you and I to step back, work on ourselves, and look where we were misaligned with our heart values, where we were extreme in our approach towards life. So many women out there, including this woman, is a vegetarian like this. But if you're a vegetarian because of resistance and hate, and you have so many connections tied up to being a vegetarian, or being alone, or being single, or raising your kids alone, or homeschooling, or whatever it is, you're not imbalanced. You're not balanced. Sorry, you're imbalanced, and you need to balance yourself. Today I spoke to the husband of this woman, this gorgeous, marvelous woman I like a lot. I like all my clients, of course I do, but I don't take any sides. I will always challenge my clients. So if one is so extreme that he has to exercise every day, well, that's extreme. I used to be like that too, so I know. If you have to be a vegetarian and you can't even not talk about it and imagine something else, something is wrong. We have to be open and flexible these years. We're in a feminine decade, more than ever. The more extreme you are, the more challenged you're gonna become by life and other people, and the less you're gonna evolve yourself. So today I spoke to the husband of this woman and I said to him, have you had a hard time throughout the years with your wife, with all her extreme methods about how is spirituality, how is it going to live, and how is he and she and it and her going to live their lives? And he became completely silent. How would I approach an area that has been such a painful topic in his life for years? I knew that. So I said, do you feel taken hostage by your wife with her extreme beliefs about she has to nurture the kids for 6 years, which makes you struggle and struggle and struggle as a man and get in all the money, which is not only your responsibility? And he said, yeah. And I said, do you also feel taken hostage by the fact that your wife wants to be a vegetarian? And he said, yeah. I said, do you want to be a vegetarian? And he said, I don't have to eat that much food, but I would like to have the free will. And this is what this video is going to be about, because down here, you can't see it. That's my script. I've got 3 sentences for today, or 3 reminders. Are you being extreme? Are you at the same time taking other people hostage rather than remembering you've got your free will? This man in this marriage has nothing to say. And as I told him today, if a woman can, she would take the whole power of the home. She will control everything and everyone until you stand up, being the man that you are. You're not supposed to be repelling against her or rebelling, but at least speak your mind. And he said, well, I can't, because she's a well-educated woman, and she will come up with all these evidence why she should home nurture her kids up until they're 6 years old. She knows why she doesn't want her kids. And I said, yeah, but tell her this. You two married. You two got the kids together. It's the 2 persons marriage. And he said, yeah, we need to be equal. And I said, hell yes. And I said to him, so you're getting emotional? I could feel that through the phone. And he said, yeah, I am. Because I took his side, and of course I would, when I know his wife is so extreme that she's sucking up the life of him. And he said, well, actually this morning, one of the kids were eating meat, and he said, I blamed myself. when the wife then honestly said, well, our kids wanted that meat. Yeah, because you didn't ask your kids whether they wanted to be a vegetarian or not. Dear mom, dear dad, have you ever asked your kids if they want that extreme lifestyle that you're living? Many years ago, I was living in the south of France, and I saw all these parents who have chosen this hippie life, distant from others. They dress their kids differently, their hair looked differently. I'm weird and different too, I know that, and that's not a bad thing. But these parents with the more extreme spiritual hippie lifestyle, are they aware what the price for that lifestyle is out amongst other kids? Are you taking your kids hostile for the way that you have chosen to live your life? And are you even taking your husband hostage? Let's say you and I got married. Don't I have something to say as well as you do? And I told my client today, and even my girlfriend who agreed with me, if a woman can, she will take the whole power and dominate everything. If she is an imbalanced masculine woman, she will emasculate her husband. She will castrate him. She will make him small and weak so that she can feel that she's the one with the power. And I know that some men is out there doing it too, but right now I want to support you guys who feel taken hostage by your wife or by your partner's extreme behavior. Let's say there's a guy out there, a husband who has a wife, and he wants to, well, he's not getting enough sex, let's say that. So he says, let's go into a swinger club, or let's get polyamorous. At least I want to do that, the man said. So many women will sacrifice their heart believing in only one love, to make sure they will sacrifice their own heart values in order to fulfill her man's extreme needs for bondage or SM or I can't say that in English, being polyamorous. But you know what? You've got one thing, and you cannot kill that thing or bury it or ignore it, and that is your free will. You have a free will. So are you using it? So what I said to my client today was, you have to say this to your wife from a calm place within yourself. Hey, we were two persons who got married. We chose to have 2 kids together. I have a saying in this marriage too. And I said, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And he was like, my mind is going off like 100. Luckily, this is an old Lance Corporal like myself as well. I've been 10 years in the army, and he almost has as well. So it was cool for him to connect with a woman who would get him. But it was also cool that for me that I got to speak to the soldier mindset, which is quite cool working with. But this amazing man is a heart warrior. He's not just a brain masculine man. Throughout the years as being a psychic, an intuitive mentor, a body behavioral transformation expert, and blah, 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 I've met many, many people who are extremely extreme. They believe that being spiritual is about rules. You can't eat meat. You can't do this. You can't drink alcohol. You can't even look at a cow. You can't even eat butter. But you know what spirituality is? It's about acceptance. It's about embracing. It's about openness. It's not about being so zen that we're all one. We can all take from each other's little drawer of money and take from each other's fridges. It's not about that. But it's about being a big person. It's about being large. And if I am a small person, which I once was, I would say, you can't do this because then you're wrong. You can't look like that because you look back. You can't be like that and say like that because then you're not spiritual. I used to be there. And in these years, and for the past 15 years, so many women have went from being unaware to figuring out there's something wrong in their marriage or at their partner. They even made their partners wrong, So I might as well go into the spiritual world and evolve myself. And your husband is still there. So instead of evolving and growing together, which the imbalanced man won't do, the healthy man will. These women grow and grow and grow themselves. But they do what I did in the beginning too. They get so extreme from one lifestyle to another. They will be so extreme that all the other people will pull away from them because it's all so complicated. There's so many rules. No, I can't have a piece of chicken because I'm a vegetarian. It's not good. It's not good to eat chicken. There's not them or us. There's not being non-spiritual and spiritual. We all one, for fuck's sake. Many years ago, I was staying over at another woman's apartment because I was over there at that little island, Sjælland. I was over there to teach or something like that. And I remember coming there with my cappuccino and she was like, oh, you're not drinking milk. I just lost all respect for you. And you know what I said? I don't give a fuck about your opinion, because your opinion, you being opinionated, is about your insecurity, because you believe being spiritual is about doing and looking and acting in a certain way. I could have told her that her almost bared breath because of the way she dressed herself wasn't very spiritual, or that she was wearing a lot of makeup and she had to look pretty. That wasn't spiritual either, but I didn't. I don't care how she looks. It's up to her. But I would not judge you. Like sometimes my friend would call me up and she's like, I'm smoking a cigarette. And I would just laugh because I don't care if she smokes a cigarette. I know what it does. But people know what my opinion is about smoking, because the biggest antidote to spirituality is smoking, because smoking pulls out the prana and the life chi of your life force area, and you can't evolve as a spiritual being if you drink too much alcohol, if you smoke, and if you do weed and all these sorts of things which we do to numb ourselves, which is also normal. It's okay to numb ourselves as long as we do it when we're aware. I numb myself too. I do. And I don't blame myself, because I'm also just a human. So if I can't eat a Snicker, I can't eat a Mars bar, I had to buy the bio stuff because of all the additives and stuff like that. But sometimes even my friend would call me and she was like, I'm drinking a beer, and I would just start laughing out loud because I like it. I like it when you're a human. I like it when you're being real, fucking real. So the other day a client called me up and she's like, oh, my adult son is going into Christianity. And I looked at her intuitively and her son, and I said, oh, he's not even being a Christian, he's going to the extreme being a Christian. She's like, yeah. And I said, well, just have a look at your own extreme spirituality, your own extreme spiritual behavior. And she was like, because she knew I was right. Because whenever she has a rash or ill, or the belly is hurting, she would look up in the books and know what to do, and because she has an approach to spirituality instead of being. Sometimes when I'm going through something I wouldn't do when I was imbalanced in my spirituality, because in the past I would fix it, remove it, deal with it, and want to move away from it. But today, sometimes it's just there, and that's what it is. You've even seen me in the past do videos. Let's see if we can do it today. I don't know if my eyes today are the same. It's not always, because I might be processing something. So my subconscious self, my old self, the left eye can look different. So my clients, you realized, yeah, you're right. I can be extreme in my spiritual approach as well. So she actually called me up 2 days ago and she said, I had a beer last night, and I laughed because I loved it. Because many people believe that not drinking is not spiritual. I don't drink much. If I am to open an organic bottle of wine, I would drink this much, and it would be just on the table for the next 2 months, and I won't even drink it, because it weakens my aura, it weakens my energy system. Does that make sense? I had fish this morning. Yesterday I had a burger. I made a broccoli bun, a broccoli toast, so it didn't contain all the grain. And then I made beef and put in the middle, because I do eat meat sometimes, not much. For 15 years, I only had meat 1.5 times a week, and even less. And then 2 years ago, 1 year and 5 months ago, I increased the meat that I needed. I don't have to have it, but it makes me stronger and it makes me lose weight easier, which isn't that easy when you're past 40. So there's always a new way. And this woman I spoke to yesterday, where I said, so you want to take care of your kids at home for the next 6 years? And she said, yeah. So I asked her a question, and she said, that's out of the way when I've chosen this lifestyle. And I asked her another question, and she went, well, and then she went again, that's not possible with this lifestyle. And I said, so can you see that with the lifestyle you've chosen for yourself and your kids, you're limiting yourself? That's just the way it is, she said. And I said, no, there's another way. But when you won't let go of how it's supposed to be, you can't see what another option or possibility is. Does that make sense? When you have an opinion about someone or something that is like this, you have so much emotions connected to it. It's an imbalanced thought or behavior or belief. It's not pure. So let's say I used to have a lot of resistance against weed, marijuana, and all the other substances, which I don't know what's called, even ayahuasca, which is a substance. You do something to achieve a certain state, and it is not good for a sensitive being. It will attract lower entities, but that's another thing. Whether people do that today, I don't care. But I used to resent it, and that the fact that I resented it was a proof that I wasn't pure in that. Does that make sense? So let's say another example. I used to dislike it when women were dressed themselves in a less self-respectful way. Also because I've been in the army, and I suffered from the fact that there was a prostitute in the army whose reputation infected me, so I had to explain myself to strangers and even to my friends, so I didn't like it. The more slutty women. Today I don't care what a woman is doing, as long as she takes responsibility and is aware of what signals she's sending out there. And today I don't even care, because I have evolved beyond being extreme. So back to the topic. What is your extreme beliefs about men, women, spirituality, your kids, the society working? Look at it. Because if you're not going to deal with it now, and at least now where it's the last super full moon of the year, if you're not going to deal with it now where we are still in the energies of April 2020, a 444 month, that was an extreme month. We had to wake up anew, and in order for you and I to become more balanced here in May 2020, we had to look at what was our extreme beliefs. You and I have many extreme beliefs. I have to be like this. I have to look like this. I have to act like this. Like that. That is wrong. That is right. No. You can't do that. But you know what? When we're in that state, we're not our centered, adult, heart-centered self. We are connected to our lower self. My friend, she said to me today, so Julie, 3 years ago, you made some interviews with a male numerologist and tantra expert, and she said, I admire you for being so, you're not taking side, and I admire you for being humble, and while talking about it, I get all emotional, because I wasn't an empathic person years ago when I had PTSD. I took side previously because I was imbalanced myself. So hearing that makes me feel good, and my heart expands, and that's why all the tears is coming up. And I said, yeah, and that's so cool, because I do sometimes take the side today, my personality. No, that I don't do anymore. But I said, I'm not always humble in my personal life. And I said, because I have a personality, and she's allowed to have her opinions as long as I can take them up and look at them and work on them until next time when I'm being challenged on something. Does that make sense? And she said, I like that. I like that you know that and you take responsibility for it. And I said, I know that. I am humble when it comes to what I do, and I never take sides, but I'm not always humble when it's me in my everyday life. And that's just the way it is right now. And you know what? I will soon be more humble in my personal life because I know it and I don't resist it. I don't dislike it. It's just the way that it is right now. And I'm working with my amazing therapist, Dr. Gary Salyer, who's rewiring my brain. So back to the topic. Are you extreme? And where are you out here being completely masculine, structured, disciplined, closed, narrow-minded, arrogant, demeanoring? And are you extreme over here? You wanna have this. Are you too spiritual, too feminine, too weak, too submissive? You want this. You want to live in your your own world. And who are you taking hostage with your extreme beliefs and behavior and opinions? Many of you parents, I know you think you're doing a good deed when you force your kids to be a vegetarian. But if you were to, but you know what, mom and dad, your kids know what they like, what they need, and what they want, and what does them well. So sometimes if your kid want normal chips, those are the things you want, are chips in Denmark, or candy, whatever it is. Don't take your kids hostile because of your beliefs, because so many spiritual kids are not growing enough because the parents have chosen on their behalf to be vegetarian. Some of them might even be less developed mentally and socially because of the way that your parents are raising them. Some of your kids are being bullied, extremely bullied in school because the way that they look, because you expect them to look like you. I'm not saying that you should dress or act or feed your child in a way that is compromising yourself, but at least make sure that you're giving your kid a good start on life and not forcing your belief onto them and giving them a rough start, which many of us had ourselves. I said to this woman, do you know how hard it was for me to begin in school at the age of 6? Not having had any friends, not having had to be in a kindergarten or anything like that. I was so challenged socially. So I wished I had been in a kindergarten or something else like that. And she was like, yeah, but I think that's wrong. But why can't you just be open, dear mom? There's another world. And when you're stressed, I know that there's so many billions of women, especially out there, that's stressed. And when you're stressed, what you do is that you cover yourself up in many layers of narratives. I don't like this, I can't do that, my kids can't do that. And I have been like that for more than 10 years when I had severe PTSD. It was a cover-up. It was in order for me to stay safe within my little comfort zone. And that comfort zone was so small that I didn't even live. I didn't have any friends. I was hard to be around. And I was so fucking lonely because I took everyone hostage. They had to relate to my world. They had to be like I expected them to. They had to look in a certain way and act in a certain way, or I would make them wrong. But you know what, dear soul sister or soul brother, you have got your free will, and so does your kids. So you put the apples, you put the bread, and you put the chicken on the table, for example, or the eggs, and let your child choose what they want. Yesterday, my friend served meat for her kids, and they were like, Mom, why are you serving meat? And she said, because you asked about meat yesterday. So the kids have their free will and can say, Mom, can we have beef today? Can we have vegetables today? Can we have strawberries today? So please, dear you, also you as a man in the marriage, remember you've got a free will. You don't have to put up with your partner's extreme behavior, but you cannot force people into your prison behavior either. You can't force your narratives onto other people. You've got your free will and I've got mine. And I will even say to people, I can't come to your home when you're smoking. And I know many of my friends would go to a home where someone else is smoking. I can't go there because I used to box. My nose closes up and I can't breathe because I've never been able to tolerate cigarettes, even though I grew up in a childhood where my mom was smoking. So dear you, are you too extreme? Who are you taking hostage with your extreme behavior? And just remember, you got your free will, your partner got your free will, and so does your kids. I know I got angry and passionate about this topic, but I've had more than 6,000 clients throughout the years. I've been teaching more than 10,000 online, and it's about being open and flexible, and of course it's about having heart values, but don't lose yourself to being so extreme and closed and narrow-minded that you're forgetting to live. There's always another way, and this is May 2020. A new reality is opening up where you and I have to find a new inner harmonious balance. I am Julie Johansson, warriorsheart.dk. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to leave a comment, which I would love to, please do it from your heart. I would appreciate that. None of us are perfect. You know that. Namaste.